Nonprofit organizations are mission-driven entities that operate to serve the public good, rather than to generate profits for owners or shareholders. In the United States, nonprofits play a vital role in areas like education, healthcare, social services, arts, and the environment. Because they serve the public interest, many nonprofits apply for federal tax-exempt status under the Internal Revenue Code, which gives them special tax benefits. Forming a nonprofit typically involves creating a corporation at the state level and then applying to the IRS for tax-exempt status. Services like filingfox.com specialize in helping entrepreneurs and community leaders with this process, ensuring all the proper paperwork is filed. For example, filingfox.com can handle your articles of incorporation and guide you through the IRS application. Feel free to contact info@filingfox.com for expert assistance on starting your nonprofit journey. Nonprofits in the U.S. are generally categorized by their IRS tax status. The most familiar type is the 501c3 charity, which includes organizations with religious, educational, charitable, scientific, or literary purposes. Other common categories include 501c4 social welfare organizations, like advocacy groups, and 501c6 business leagues, such as chambers of commerce. Each category has specific rules and benefits. Common ones include 501c3 charitable and religious organizations. These include charities, churches, schools, hospitals, and foundations. Donations to 501c3. Nonprofits are usually tax-deductible for donors. These organizations must operate for public benefit and cannot use their income to benefit private individuals. They are also restricted from engaging in political campaigns and have limits on lobbying activities. 501c4 social welfare organizations. These nonprofits promote the common good or community welfare, like advocacy organizations or civic leagues. They can engage in some lobbying and political activities, but donations to 501c4 groups are not tax-deductible for donors. 501c6 business leagues and trade associations. These are organizations like chambers of commerce or professional associations. They promote the interests of businesses or trades. Contributions to a 501c6 nonprofit are not tax-deductible. Other 501c categories. There are many other nonprofit types under the IRS code. For example, 501c5 covers labor and agricultural organizations. 501c7 covers social clubs, such as country clubs or hobbyist groups. 501c19 covers veterans organizations. Each category has its own purpose and rules. Nonprofit organizations have a specific legal and governance structure. Most U.S. nonprofits are formed as nonprofit corporations in a particular state. This involves filing articles of incorporation and creating bylaws. Key elements of nonprofit structure include board of directors. A group of individuals, the board, is legally responsible for overseeing the organization. The board sets the mission, approves budgets, and ensures the nonprofit stays on track with its goals. Board members have a fiduciary duty to act in the nonprofit's best interests. Officers, executives. These are people like a president or CEO, treasurer, and secretary who manage the nonprofit's day-to-day operations. They implement the board's policies and handle tasks like financial management and program administration. Members, if applicable. Some nonprofits have a formal membership, for example, a trade association or community club. Members may have voting rights in selecting directors or approving major decisions. Other nonprofits have no members and are governed solely by the board. No private owners. Unlike for-profit businesses, nonprofits have no shareholders or owners who take profits. Any surplus revenue must be reinvested into the organization's mission. Nonprofits must avoid inurement, meaning no individual or board member can benefit personally from the nonprofit's earnings. Nonprofits must also comply with legal requirements. They need to obtain an employer identification number, EIN, from the IRS and file annual reports and tax returns, such as the Form 990 for many tax-exempt nonprofits. Good governance practices, like maintaining conflict of interest policies and transparent financial records, are important for building trust with donors and regulators. Nonprofit funding comes from a mix of sources, and it must align with the nonprofit's mission. Typical sources of income include individual donations and grants. Many nonprofits rely on gifts from individuals and grants from foundations or government agencies. For 501c3 charities, these donations are often tax-deductible for the donor, which can encourage giving. Membership dues and fees. Membership organizations may charge dues, and some nonprofits charge fees for services or programs, for example, tuition at a nonprofit school or tickets to a nonprofit museum. Fundraising events. Nonprofits often hold events, like gala dinners, auctions, charity runs, to raise money and increase public awareness. Corporate sponsorships. Businesses may sponsor nonprofit events or programs as part of their own community engagement. Earned income. Some nonprofits run businesses related to their mission, such as thrift stores or publications. Any profit earned must be used to further the nonprofit's mission. Government grants and contracts. Nonprofits often partner with government agencies to provide services like community health or housing programs. These funds may be grants or payment contracts. It's important to note that nonprofits must be careful with their funding. For example, activities unrelated to their mission may be subject to unrelated business income tax, UBIT. Also, 501c3. Organizations have limits on political and lobbying activities because of their tax-exempt status. Strong financial management and budgeting help ensure that the organization can sustain its programs and mission. At the heart of every nonprofit is its mission, a clear statement of the public benefit it exists to achieve. A nonprofit's mission guides all decisions, programs, and resource allocation. Unlike a for-profit business that focuses on profit metrics, nonprofits measure success by their impact on a community or cause. For example, an educational nonprofit might measure success by the number of students served or improvements in literacy rates. Key points about mission and impact include mission-driven focus. Every program or service should align with the nonprofit's mission. A strong mission statement helps the organization stay on track and communicate its purpose to stakeholders. Measuring impact. Nonprofits often track outcomes and metrics, like services delivered, people helped, or goals achieved, to demonstrate their impact. This transparency is important for donors, beneficiaries, and regulatory agencies. Accountability and transparency. Many nonprofits publish annual reports or impact reports. Being transparent about operations and finances builds trust and can help attract funding. Community benefit. To qualify as a 501c3, a nonprofit must serve the public good. This means its activities are intended to benefit a broad community rather than private interests. Focusing on a clear mission and demonstrating real impact can help a nonprofit gain support and fulfill its purpose effectively. Starting or running a nonprofit in the U.S. involves understanding its type, legal structure, funding sources, and mission-driven focus. Nonprofits can be powerful forces for good, but they must follow specific rules and practices to maintain their tax-exempt status and public trust. By setting up a solid governance structure, diversifying funding, and staying true to their mission, nonprofits can make a lasting difference. If you're ready to take the next step in forming a nonprofit, remember that filingfox.com is here to help. Filingfox.com is the go-to online service for nonprofit formation, assisting with paperwork, filings, and compliance. Visit filingfox.com or email info@filingfox.com today to get expert guidance on establishing your nonprofit organization. Together, you can make a positive impact and change lives through your mission-driven work.